Two more cargo ships attacked and on fire after being struck by missiles off the coast of Yemen. Also, we have the President Macron of France humiliated, as well as Germany humiliated, as they've lost major elections for the EU parliaments. We have updates from some of you guys on those of you who have used the Walmart brand Mainstay canning jars. There are some warnings you need to be aware of, and a report on where all the vinegar is going. We got updates coming from you guys from all over. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates. These are your reports about what's going on out there from all over the world, as well as all over the United States. If you have updates that you'd like to share, please do post those as comments on this video or any video on this channel. Make sure you use the word update somewhere in there and a geographical location if possible. If you need to send me an email directly at poplarpreparedness@gmail.com, you can do that, and that if you need to keep your name off of it. Can't receive pictures though. But let's go over to Yemen. We have the Bab al-Mandab Strait, that is the way into the Red Sea that then leads up to the Suez Canal, to shortcut going all the way around Africa. Well, two more ships were hit by missiles. This was as of Saturday evening in the sea near Yemen. Both were struck by missiles, one in the rear section and the other in the forward section. Both ships caught fire. A second missile missed one of the cargo ships, and that ship also came under fire by several small boats who use small arms fire, boomsticks and such on the cargo ship. The cargo ship did have an armed guards on board who returned fire and drove off the small boats. That must have been a very exciting trip for them. No injuries on either one of the missile attacks. Both cargo ships have no casualties, and they are both proceeding on to ports under their own power, which suggests that they did get their fires under control. U.S. naval and coalition naval units are responding to those events. But we are seeing a dramatic uptick in missile attacks by the Yemeni Houthi forces. It seems like they've got upgraded weapons, because these latest attacks seem to be hitting at a much higher rate, and we seem to be having less interceptions by U.S. coalition forces. I'm not sure if if they're reaching out further where U.S. ships aren't, or if they're attacking ships that aren't protected by coalition naval units, or if they're just the missiles are moving faster and are not being able to be intercepted. All right, big news out of Europe. Elections happened yesterday. Now, you got your national elections to like the parliaments and of the different governments, but then they all have elections that they send representatives to the EU. So the European Union Parliament, those representatives are kind of directly voted in through elections across the continent. And usually the government that's in power usually wins, basically their folks win going to European Union. But that's not what has happened. There has been a dramatic shift towards conservative and anti-war and anti-immigrant parties out there. And so in France, Macron was humiliated in the fact that they abandoned his party, and the voters decided to send conservatives to the European Union. Interesting. Same thing happened in Germany. Same thing happened in Austria and Greece and Netherlands. The liberal and leftist ruling governments did not get their pick of people to go to the European Union to represent their countries. So there is a clear rejection of these governments and their leftist policies, their insane open borders policies, and we're seeing a shift happening out there towards actually enforcing borders, actually taking a strong stand against all this pro-war stuff and the militarization of the European Union. All right, it was a few days ago, but I didn't mention on this channel yet, so I do want to make sure that you are aware of the bird flu death down in Mexico. Now, that has created ripples out there. Some perspectives, it is changing some of the perspectives out there on the need for testing and more aggressive responses across North America. Deborah Birx, you may recognize her as the former COVID response coordinator for the United States, with her wonderful suggestions of locking everyone down. She is now saying that all 40 million cows inside the United States will need to be tested. Okay, they need to be tested. That's going to take a while. No, they need to be tested weekly, according to her. And she's not the only one out there saying crazy stuff. The WHO chief scientist now says cows are the main issue in bird flu virus spread. Seems like there might be an issue with beef coming up, you might think, right? Our beef herd is at 70-year lows. 75-year lows, actually. We haven't had a cattle herd this small since the 1960s. And honestly, that's when we started counting. So we don't know how long before that where we actually saw a smaller herd of cattle inside the United States. And then on top of this, they want to start talking about culling cattle in order to prevent bird flu spread. You need to be paying attention to this, friends, because beef is about to go out like the dodo bird. We need to be paying attention to that. Toby says, no eggs in Costco. This is in Maple Grove, Minnesota. And that was yesterday. First time I have seen this. And other reports coming from you guys. Here's one in Oklahoma City. Caroline at Costco said, no pork in the Costco except for bacon. Very little beef, but the chicken was stocked. Kim, currently at a Walmart in South Central Pennsylvania, and they've gotten rotten tomatoes for sale and bare shelves and open boxes of different food items. Boo says, went to the store here in rural central Maine to buy a gallon of apple cider vinegar. This is a warning to us all. Thankfully, I noticed the label before I purchased it. Name brand apple cider flavored vinegar. Read those labels, friends. Make sure that it's actually apple cider vinegar and not just apple cider flavored vinegar. Indie Girl says Kroger at Mishawaka, Indiana. They haven't had Kroger brand canned pasta in over a year. Absolutely nothing. Seeing problem with generic canned pasta at Walmart. Seeing issues with canned pasta, generic canned pasta at Kroger. Are you guys seeing generic canned pasta out there? Or is that something that has gone away too? This is from She Can Homestead. I bought the Mainstay regular mouth pint canning jars at Walmart, used for a batch of pickles. Jars had an odd film on them, kind of like an oily, hazy looking film. Now these are manufactured in China, right? Mainstay is a new brand we've seen popping up at Walmart. And I asked you guys, have you guys used these for canning? And what have been your experiences? So watch out for a clear, oily haze on the jars. They say, I ran through a dishwasher and they came out clean, but still wonder what the oily film is. So make sure you wash them good, because they may have chemicals on them and stuff. I used the lids. Out of the 8 jars in the first batch, I had 3 failures. Next batch was better, because I used 4 jars lids. If you use these, I recommend you don't use their lids. And that's something I saw come up repeatedly from you guys out there, that if you're water bath canning, okay. If you're dry canning, okay. If you're pressure canning, a lot of these lids are failing, so be aware of that. And they say, I do not plan to buy them again. Dragon Lady says, mid-Michigan here, I've used the mainstay jars, and as long as you water bath them, they're fine. But don't try pressure can them, as the bottoms will blow out. So Dragon Lady was the only one I saw talking about the bottoms blowing out. But a lot of other people were saying that the lids do fail. So if you're going to use them for water bathing, it seems like people are saying they're good for that. If you want to dry can them, or if you want to use them just for storage, cool, go for them. Make sure you do wash them out really well first. That's what we're doing out there. Dimbula Blade Works says from Australia, global as it's the vinegar shortage is global as far as I've been told. Steel producers are now using vinegars, which are acetic acid. Now, a lot of the acetic acid is made from petroleum, okay? But they can also make it from grains, which is what white vinegar out there is on your store shelves. That's grain vinegar, right? You can also make it from apples, right? Or you can also make it from all sorts of other stuff, other alcohols, right? But the industrial usually comes from petroleum, and when they don't have enough of that, they use grain vinegars. And so they're pulling from the food side. So steel producers are now using vinegars, acetic acid, to clean steel, especially rolled steel sheet coils to clean the steel rather than the mild acids normally used before being oiled and rolled for shipping. The chemical acids, hydrochloric acid and ferric chloride, have been rising in cost dramatically, and so the cheaper acetic acid concentrates have been replacing these. So they're pulling more and more of the vinegars. These acetic acids are a higher percentage than consumptive vinegars, so it uses up the stocks at a higher rates. So basically, the vinegar you get on the store shelf is very diluted compared to the stuff they use on the industrial side. So while you get 1 gallon jug, you're using a very small amount of actual acetic acid or vinegar in there. Whereas the concentrated stuff they're using on the industrial side, it is way more concentrated, and so they're using a lot of this stuff. I asked who is consuming these and was told mainly India and China, as these countries produce the majority of rolled steel. But Japan has joined a few months back as well in using this as well. Now, like I said, they're talking about just steel, but acetic acid is being used in a lot of industries out there, and as we see that as the rates of hydrochloric acid and ferric chloride are going up dramatically, it stands to reason in a lot of other applications they're replacing the hydrochloric acid with acetic acid or vinegar. This is why we're having issues with vinegar out there. And then we're having other issues with the apple cider vinegar. That's a whole nother separate thing. They don't really use that stuff because it is more expensive. Lisa says, Northeast Ohio, I went to Aldi's and Costco and there were 0 sweet potatoes. Giant Eagle had a few, but they were very expensive. Giant Eagle is kind of a premium supermarket around here. Ken says, Northeast Tennessee, produce was hit and miss. Some weeks well-stocked and good quality, other weeks poorly stocked. My understanding is the quality is so bad that some shipments are being rejected. So low-quality produce hitting out there all over the place. You're seeing it at your stores. I'm seeing it at my stores. So be careful with what you're buying. Make sure you do inspect all of your stuff. All right, friends. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group, that helps people who have retirement accounts get into gold, silver, or platinum. If you'd like to get some more information from them, there's a link right here. Just tap on that and they will send you more information, and you can get your questions answered, no obligation whatsoever. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.